Welcome to the Marlene Saunders Show, where we have real talk, real conversations, and you're welcome to it. If it's your first time here, hit the like, subscribe to this channel, and welcome to the Blah 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 podcast. Hello to all of the chat family. How are all of you doing? Happy Wednesday, hump day to you all. We've made it halfway through the week. We have made it. And I want to say, how are you doing? Welcome into today's podcast and discussion. A shout out to Miss Jackie, who is in here. Good morning and happy hump day to you. And thank you for always reminding the chat family to like and subscribe. Thank you so much. I hope you're doing well, Jackie. Today, I wanted to speak on the subject watch who you trust. Um, and I think after you go through certain things in your life from your childhood onward, it causes you to move differently and act differently. But not everybody you should trust. And I do think that it's because naturally many of us are trusting individuals, but not everybody who comes in our life can be trusted. I wish I knew that years ago. I wish I knew that you can't trust everybody that you know, or not everybody that you know has good intentions and good motives towards you. Thank you, Jackie. I appreciate it. Not everybody has good intentions towards us. They don't, you know? And it's hard when you're young to get that because you're innocent, you're very vulnerable, gullible, you lack experience, so many things. And I just naturally I can speak I'm just speaking for myself. I was just a naturally trusting person. And I want to say this to all of my younger chat family, maybe those of my chat family that are under 18 and they have not got all of the worldly experience by going through life and just learning certain lessons. These are the times that you have to go by what your spirit says. It never lies to us. When your spirit tells you that somebody is weird or strange or wrong for you, listen to that. Listen to that. Please listen to it, because the spirit is never wrong. When your gut feeling tells you something is wrong with a person, trust that. Trust it, okay? Because not everyone that we know can be trusted. That's is very unfortunate, but that is the case. Not everybody that are in positions of trust can be trusted, and we see it every day on the news reports. These chomos, those who mess with children, or those who take advantage of those who are in a disabled situation. They're disabled, they're elderly, they have cognitive issues, they have special needs, or just those who just don't understand certain things on the computer, those who are catfishers and scammers. So everybody cannot be trusted, and be careful who you trust. There's a lot of things out there that so many things in this world that is so unsavory, so difficult to decipher what can be trusted, who can be trusted. And that's why it's important to watch what your kids are looking at on their computers, their phones, their tablets. Watch if you have older parents or aunts and uncles, or just anybody in your life that is very susceptible to be taken advantage, you pay attention and you look and you're watching. And especially, I have to speak about the younger population. Watch your kids, because kids tend to believe everything that they hear and they see. If they see that somebody is saying, I'm a good person, especially those who play like those online games, and they'll be thinking that they're playing with another child, and it's somebody who's probably 40 years old, a 40-year-old man or 40-year-old woman, trying to take advantage of the innocence of our youth. And don't even get me started with these teachers and counselors that are messing around with our young children. We have to be so careful, and it's so important for us to have the conversations with our young people, informing them that not everybody out there, you can trust them, even your teachers. You have to have those conversations. And if they make you feel uncomfortable, if they attempt to touch you in a place that is personal and private, you need to tell me. It doesn't matter if it's your teacher, it doesn't matter. You didn't do anything wrong. And you have to inform your children, those who are special needs, and even the elderly, because there's so many people out here right now that are so twisted, okay, that they will even mess with an older person that does not have it together. Like they have some cognitive issues like Alzheimer's and dementia. So they really don't understand what is going on. I used to watch out for people. Now I watch out for people. Yes, Jackie. It's so important that we do that for those who cannot speak up for themselves. I call it being the voice of the voiceless. We have to be the voice of the voiceless, because they don't know. Either they don't know, they don't understand, or whatever the case may be. We have to advocate for the youth. We have to advocate for the older population, the disabled, the special needs, the homeless. I advocate for all of those groups. It's very important to me. Someone has to care. Someone has to love them. Someone has to be compassionate and understanding, because these scumbags will do whatever they can do as long as they can get away with it. And that's why it's very important to check on your children, look at what they're looking at, and pay attention to all of those things, because we can't believe that they're going to tell us everything. To the parents, grandparents, whoever is raising children, make sure you do those pop-in visits to those who are your caregivers, maybe your babysitters, the after-school programs, your teachers. Pop in on your children and see what they're doing in real time, not just them. See what the teachers are doing, you know? We can't just um, expect them to do the right thing all the time. Sometimes you will be surprised at things that you walk into. You find out when people have their guard down and they think it's safe. Come back and check on them. Show up early, or whatever the case may be. But you have to check in on those vulnerable populations, okay? And especially around your kids. And these days, it's a lot of things that we can do for those who have, special needs, or they need to have special care. Getting a camera where they play, if they, in the house, make sure you have a video camera that you could watch at any time, and you could play it back maybe at a later time, so that you can see, and you don't inform them that they're being watched. You don't tell them these things, so that they can get comfortable and do whatever it is that they are doing, so you can catch them in the act. And unfortunately, I have to say that sometimes you have to especially watch your children around your relatives. Unfortunately, speaking from experience, some things happened to me when I was younger because of a relative taking advantage of my innocence. And that's why I am a very big advocate of child protection and speaking up on awareness about these sexual predators, these chomos, these perverts. They will do things to your children if you don't talk to them about certain things, like if they feel uncomfortable, tell them to run. And if anything happens to them, unfortunately, make sure that you have a safe space, because you're already communicating with them and talking to them about certain things. For me, certain things happened to me when I was younger because it was not a safe space for me to be able to say, this and this happened to me. If you're not communicating with your children, which I see a lot, yes, it's important to be the parent, but you also have to make them feel comfortable that they can talk to you about anything. And I grew up fearing my parents. I never felt comfortable to talk to certain things, talk about certain things with my parents, and thus there was no communication about very important things that I should have felt comfortable talking to them about. Let's see. Good morning, Miss Tamika. How are you doing? Welcome in. Truly appreciate you being here. Happy Wednesday. Yeah, especially around your kids. You know, I hate to say that, but there are some very sick individuals, even among our relatives. And I speak that from experience. Leaving your children with a relative, and you're not aware that they have this predator mentality and actions, and you leave them around, them. You go to work, or the worst, drop off your kids for a sleepover and take advantage of your children while they're sleeping or while they're alone and they have nowhere to go, because they feel that it's a safe space for them to walk into, and it's not. Good morning, Frank. How are you doing? Welcome in. Happy Wednesday to you. Thank you so much for coming through and supporting. If everybody has not hit the like already, please hit the like. Share this out if it's possible. Um, because I grew up in that generation where children were seen and not heard, and that's not a good thing. Because when there's certain things going on with children, and I don't just mean girls, because I don't know why it is that we're very protective of young girls, but we just like let boys go around anybody and do anything. Um, these predators, perverts, chomos, whatever you want to call them, these sick and twisted people, they take advantage of both genders of children. So you have to protect your little boys and you have to protect your little girls, especially from your own relatives, because they prey on those that they're not expecting. You're not expecting your cousins and your uncles, your aunts, uncle, even sometimes it's a parent, no matter how twisted that seems, but sometimes it's the other parent who is messing around with their own children. And we have to watch the body language of our children. We have to watch how they're acting. Has their behaviors changed? Awesome, Frank. I'm glad you're good. Always love to hear a good report. Because family is the main ones we have to watch out for. When we're talking about watch who you trust, family is the main one you have to watch out for. And many times we let our guard down and we say, that's my family, when family is not just because someone you're born into that. Family is those that trust, love, and support you. And it's quite the opposite with many people who are our relatives. Yeah, we may have the same blood running in our veins, but they don't mean you no good. They will take advantage of you, be cutthroat, nasty, use you, manipulate you in every area, verbally abuse you, physically assault you, take your money, just crush your spirit and make you feel like nobody. They will talk about you so terribly in front of your face, behind your back. You know, it's terrible how your own relatives can be so jealous of you, and you're not even doing anything, you're not even bothering them. But it's been the case for many people, since the beginning of time. Brothers and sisters, aunts, cousins, grandparents, being jealous of one another. It's crazy, some of the things that happen in the family circle. But we have to watch our family, quote unquote, our relatives, how they are treating us, how they are treating your children, and listen to your children when they tell you something. If they say somebody's acting weird to them, you pay attention to them. Don't force them. One thing that I don't do these days is force a child to hug somebody. And don't even get me started. Please stop putting your children in somebody's lap. Mm-mm, mm-mm. And that's good. One good way to make me go off. And they're in their lap, and and you have these that are a pervert, and they're sexually aroused by your children. I've seen it with my own two eyes. It's disgusting. So don't don't do it. If you want to see me go off, put your child into one of your relatives that's a pervert, and see how excited their eyes are, just like they're so turned on by it. And I know that this topic may be a trigger warning for some, so I understand that everybody cannot stay in and listen to it, but I've seen it with my own two eyes. Some very twisted and perverted things that happen within the family circle, and a lot of people just turn their eyes, like they don't see certain things. They don't see weird things and uncomfortable things. So if you see those things, who's going to advocate and protect your children? It should be you. Should be you. That's a lot of dark things that we see in um, the family, especially in the urban communities and in low income. It's not just among the Black community; it's among all communities. It's happening within the family, like family secrets that people will, like, they take to their graves of being SA'd by a relative, and they're they're never allowed to speak on it. And it's the reason why many people, myself included, where you start to have some self-harming habits, some vices, drinking, smoking, becoming um, provocative, and doing all kinds of things, all because of the pain that you have buried inside. Don't bury your pain. It's not you that did anything. It's that adult. It's that family member or a trusted counselor, teacher, whoever it was that took advantage of you. And it doesn't matter how many years ago it was, because I was one that tried to do that. I tried to hold something that happened to me when I was 7 years old. And by the time I was 19, I had so many vices. I already was drinking. I had what do you call, a cutting? Like, I used to cut myself. I used to have an eating disorder. I had so many things because I was trying to cover up all the pain from my past, which I didn't know was still affecting me. But I found myself very depressed. Um, like, I hated myself, and it wasn't anything that had to do with me. It was all of the anger, all of the hurt, all of the pain that I held inside from what happened to me when I was starting at the age of 7 years old. Let's see what's going on in the chat. Parents back in the day didn't want to listen to their kids about serious questions. Yes, Frank, it happened a lot. I know it happened to me because when I used to try to say something and you weren't really listened to, they're like, oh, go in your room. Like everything was just like, oh, like what, you're a kid, you have nothing important to say. And that's not the case at all. That's not the case at all. We have to be very careful. We have to be very protective of our children, of our special needs community, of our disabled, those who are mentally and physically, those who need us. Yeah, the truth is told. We have to speak the truth, you know, and family is the main ones that you have to watch out for. Okay, watch out for them. If they make you feel strange or weird, don't bring them around your children. I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's your sibling or even your parents. I don't care who it is, your aunt, your grandfather, whoever, or even an associate of the family, that creepy friend of your brother or a friend of your whoever. Don't bring them around. They make you feel, say, you're not welcome here. Don't come back. Somebody has to be protective. And I wish when I was younger, I had somebody who would protect me. It wasn't the case for me. But these days, when I see things, I advocate for all the populations that I mentioned. If I see something, oh, you better believe I'm going to mama bear. Even if that's not my child, I am going to mama bear anybody that I feel needs to be protected. I don't play those games. Hi, JC. How are you doing? Welcome. Good morning. Good morning. Happy Wednesday to you. That's one of the things that I don't play. I don't play games about children. I don't play games about the elderly. And I don't play games about people who take advantage to people on the internet, because there are these bullies, these cyber bullies, these trolls, you know, and we have to watch if our kids are being taken advantage of, asking our children to send pictures of a sexual nature to somebody that they don't know. And if you don't watch your kids, you have to actually say things like that. Never send a picture of yourself unclothed to somebody else. What do they call it now? Sexting. And I know that it's an uncomfortable thing as a parent to say to your child, because you would just think that a child would know that. No, you can't assume that a child, because they're innocent, and if somebody else asks them to do something, they usually will do it, you know? So talk to them. Don't send a picture of yourself naked to anybody. Don't let anybody touch your private areas. Don't, if anybody makes you feel uncomfortable, tell me, tell somebody that they can trust. And what used to happen back in the day, even if somebody had enough courage to speak up and to say, this is happening to me, the adult wouldn't believe them. They would say they're lying, you know, or and even discipline them, or say you shouldn't lie about things like that. Hmm. It's very, very interesting. And that's why I say, watch who you trust. Um, and I know that I spent a little period of time talking about, relatives and sexual predators and all of those things. But now I want to talk about watch who you trust when it comes to your business, okay? Your personal and private business. Not everybody should know your business, and I speak of this all the time on all my channels, to learn to walk in silence, keeping your mouth shut about your personal your personal business. Don't tell people your personal business. Keep your mouth quiet, especially when you're working on something behind the scenes where you're not really sure if it's going to work out yet. Keep it to yourself. Don't tell people I'm working on this and I'm working on that. Just do it. Make it happen. Let people see whenever it comes out. They'll see. You don't have to tell them I'm working on this and I'm working on that. No, just do it. And when it works out, they will see. Because unfortunately a lot of people that we think are our friends, uh, or we think they're our family, we think that they rock with us and they care about us, they actually don't. Some people are around and they have very poor motives, very bad intentions. And the moment that you're working on something good, they try to throw a monkey wrench in your plans. They try to do something hurtful and mean to you. They try to put you down, by saying really mean things. They spread lies and rumors about you, all to get you off track from your purpose. So watch who you trust, you know, watch who you trust. Okay. Thank you so much, Jackie. I appreciate it. Shout out to the mods. Yes. Yeah, it's illegal in many states now. You have to be careful. And that's why I always say look at your kids or your special needs population telephone, their email. Look who they're contacting and what are they talking about. You have to be looking in their backpacks. You have to be on them. It's not that you don't trust them. Or sometimes, because they're kids, like I feel like it's a 50-50 thing. Like I and every child is different. You can't group every child. If you have multiple children, you cannot group all your children together, because you have one child that will be very responsible and you have one that just won't be. There's one that you sometimes have to give more time and attention and talking to and discipline to than the other. And that's just what it is, because everybody is a different person. Yes, everything is not meant for everyone to know. People need to mind their own business, okay? And you can't trust everybody with your business, because, listen, the moment you tell one person, every single person in your friend group, on your job, among your relative will know all your business. It's just like the news, a live broadcast of the news, and tell everything. And what gets on my nerves is they're not even telling the story right. You tell them one thing and they add stuff to it. Like, that's not what I said. That's crazy. Yeah. Some people want to be all up in your business. They sure do. They want to be all in your business. They want to know your business. And the crazy part about that is the ones that want to know your personal and private business, they don't have any business of their own. You know, they're trying to tell you save money, but they have no money. They don't even have a job. Or the ones that love to give you advice on romantic relationship, and they don't even have anybody. Or the people who try to give you advice on marriage and they're not married. Like, for real? Or try to tell you how to take care of your kids and they have no kids. I'm like, make it make sense. Be careful who you trust with your business. Be careful what you trust with your heart, and telling what your goals and your aspirations are. You know, if you are trying to aspire to be something great in this world, it's not because you don't love other people, but it's because you need to keep certain things to yourself. That's your personal business, and nobody has the right to know your personal and private business. Nobody has the right. And I can't speak for how your relatives are, but among my relatives, that there's a lot of people who feel that they are entitled to know all of your business, how much money you make, who you're in a relationship with, um, your financial stuff, what you're doing with your life. They feel entitled to know all your business, but they're not sharing any of theirs. They don't share anything because most of the time they don't have anything going on. They don't work on their own personal business and fixing their own situation, their own relationships, because you ever seen certain individuals that you know of that love to talk about others, and their relationships are falling apart, or they don't have their money together, or whatever the case may be, but they love to steady talk about other people and their business. It's interesting. I like that, Jackie. A listening ear is also a running mouth. We have to be so careful and pay attention to who we trust with our personal, private things, especially things that um, were of a dark nature. My personal thing is the only ones that know those deep things that happened to me from when I was younger. I keep that. That's only my therapist and my heavenly Father know those things. There's certain things that nobody will ever know, because for a reason, because of other people will question. And that's one of the things that gets on my nerves when you tell somebody something that's already hard for you to talk about, and then they question you, like, did that really happen? They don't believe you. They think that you're lying about it, and you're like, this is my personal truth. I lived this. And that's something that gets on my nerves a lot, when when you experienced it and somebody is trying to tell you how you feel and what you went through and what you dealt with, and they're saying, I don't think, no, they're not like that. And I'm like, really? Well, they were like that to me. So we have to be so careful and pay attention. We honestly and truly do. And especially pay attention to those who, they're just very slick. You have to keep both eyes on them. There's certain individuals that I do not allow to come in my home. There's certain individuals I don't want them touching certain people, those who are special needs. Like, you can't come around them, don't touch them, don't hug them, don't ask them um, uh, any questions, and especially don't come around asking for money, because that's a whole big issue. And I'm kind of triggered by that. They will try to take money from a child. And I think everybody has somebody in their family that is very, I don't know, my term, snakish, very sly and very slick, to hold. Oh, let me hold. And it's always, let me hold $20, $50, whatever. And it's always, let me hold it. And you never get that money back. So we have to be careful and protect our vulnerable population from these people who take advantage of, and they know exactly what they're doing. We have to pay attention to who we trust, what we trust, and you know, and I know I talked about our relatives. Also, be careful what you trust when your people who are your friends, quote unquote. Don't even get me started on this, because people will say that they're your friends, but they're not showing themselves to be a friend. They're only your friend when you're in your highlight reel. But when you have those hard and dark days, when you're sad, or when you need some support and love, a listening ear, they're nowhere around. But what it is that you are a friend to them, but they're not a friend to you. Let's end these one sided friendships. That's not a friendship. A friend is a person who is there in your good days and your bad days. You know, when, for me, a friend is somebody who shows up when you didn't even ask them to. You don't even have to say, I need you. If they hear anything is going on, they just show up. That's a friend. And I know that a friend like that is very few and in between. And if you have somebody like that in your life, okay, if you have people that will just show up for you and love you and will do kind things for you and be supportive and will give you advice, not the advice that you want to hear, but the advice that you need to hear. Those are people that you keep around. Because I have a lot of people that I know, but it's not a lot of people that I trust. It's not a lot of people that I put in the category of my friend, because a friend is somebody who is there for you in need and in deed. They show by their actions that they care about you. And it's the people who will say things to you, not what you need to what you want to hear, but what you need to hear. You know, sometimes you have to have somebody who will check you and hold you accountable, right? Yeah. They will hold you accountable for when you mess up. And they'll say, not in an embarrassing way or a rude way, but when it's just the two of you, and they'll say, you were wrong for that. That wasn't right. Why did you do that? And they're not saying it to embarrass you. They're saying it for you to experience personal growth, because they're trying to keep you in check, you know? That's a friend. For me, I need people like that in my life that will keep me in check, like when I'm wrong and when I'm right. A lot of people, they only want people around when to tell them the sweet things, and to be there to celebrate with them. No, I want people when I'm wrong. And even when I'm wrong, they're there for me. Even when I do the wrong thing, they're gonna, like, I have my best friend, and she always will check me on things and be like, why did you do that, you big old dummy? Oh, that's my best friend. She will check me, but she doesn't leave my side. When I do wrong, she'll tell me when I'm wrong. She'll tell me when I need to fix things about myself, my behavior, and she checks me on those things, and vice versa. And I do the same for her. That's a real friend that will support you through every and anything. People use that term friend very loosely. Yeah. And everybody is not your friend. There's a lot of people who talk about, that's my friend, and it is not your friend. It's not your friend. Absolutely not. This is what Frank says. Frank says, friend and love are two words people take real loosely these days. They sure do, Frank. People always talk about, and especially on this app, people on social media talking about, I love you. Yeah, love you, love you, love you. On social media, like, how do you love people that you don't know? You can have love. There's a difference. You can have love for people, but I learned that when I went through therapy. You can have love for people, because I do. I have love for people in general, but I don't love them. If that makes sense to you, because I just love people just because they exist, just because you're a human being. Everybody deserves to be loved, but you know, it's like people who just say it like, I love bombing people. I love you, and I'm like, and everything in their actions does not prove that they love people. And the same thing goes with friendships. People say, that's my friend, right? Everybody's friends with people until, until the bottom falls out, right? Until you start having problems, let you lose your job, lose a relationship, need a few dollars. Then let's see who is your friend, right? Good morning, Lisette. How are you doing? Welcome. And that's one of the things that I learned, is that not everybody that you have in your life should stay in your life. That's one thing that I learned recently, is that you can outgrow relationships, and you should outgrow relationships, because if you have certain people who are in your life and you used to be running the streets and doing all of those things are fun when you're like in your teens, but you should be elevating, going to a higher level and vibration as you get older. You shouldn't be still running the streets in your 40s and your 50s. You should have elevated from that. And some people don't. And I'm not here to judge anybody, but you should be doing better by the time you're in your 40s, 50s. You should be doing better. You shouldn't be living the same life. You should be having probably by now a better job, better group of friends. Move out the ghetto. You know, maybe that ghetto life is what you did when you were younger, but then when you get older, you want better and you do better. And a lot of people say, you think you're better. No, I don't think I'm better. I am better. And a lot of people don't understand that part. It's not that you think I don't think I'm better. I am better. And I prove it by my actions. And it's not showing off or any of those things. But at a certain point, chat family, we should be doing better than we were when we were a teenager. We shouldn't be having the same people in our life that you had when you were a little child, when you were still wet behind the ears, when you still didn't know yourself, when you didn't know how to speak up for yourself and advocate. We should be doing way better in our older years than when we were younger. We shouldn't be as gullible and vulnerable and listening to every single thing that people have to say and take it on and want to argue and fight with people. That's the things that you do when you're a kid. And I had to learn to grow into that because your girl, I was a ride or die. I was a fight in chick. Okay. Anybody who had anything to say, I was going to come at you with a fist, a switchblade, or both. Like I was always on the defense for myself, but I had to learn when I grew up, like you can't get upset and angry about everything. You have to learn to calm down. You have to learn who is worth it. And some people just aren't worth it in our life. They don't deserve you even giving a response to them. They don't even responding to them, like you just wasted how many seconds of your life. Yes, Frank, some people still look at your past than wanting to look at your future. It's crazy. And a lot of people don't understand that you experience personal growth, that you're not the same person that you were when you were younger, especially if you were an immature person. And I can say that from experience because I know for sure, I was a very immature person. I can't even say I was an immature woman because I wouldn't even classify myself as a woman. At that time, I was an immature child until I didn't actually grow up until I turned 23. All the time before then, I was still a little girl because I didn't mature in my emotions. Like I had no emotional maturity. I didn't know anything. Like everything was about me. And I didn't learn how to trust myself. I didn't learn how to believe in myself and love myself. Yes, lessons will be repeated until we learn from them, whether good or bad. Ain't that the truth? That is the truth. That's some real talk right there, Miss Jackie. I'm going to put the link in here. If anybody has something to say before, I get out of here. Let's see. Let me paste it. Okay, the link is in the chat. We have to be very careful about who we trust, and we have to learn the lessons, like Miss Jackie says. We have to learn the lesson. And we have to say, like, sometimes we trust people and we have to own that. You know, everything is not everybody else's fault. I had to learn that in my maturity. Everybody's not at fault. We have to assume our fault. Like, why did we allow this behavior to continue? Why didn't we cut people off? Why did we stop doing X, Y, and Z for these said individuals? We have to take ownership of what we do as well. That's a part of being a mature adult. There's a lot of people who are adults, but they're still not mature. They haven't matured in their thought processes. They haven't matured in their reasoning, in their finances. There's a lot of ways that you have to mature in this life. And some people just don't get it. They don't get it at all. And those are the people that you just have to stay away from. The people who never grow up, people who think that they can do and say whatever they want, and there's zero consequences for every action, every single action. There is a reaction. And the reaction for some people is because they're weird or strange or they're not trustworthy. The reaction is, I choose to stay away from you. I choose to not give you my money. I choose to not give you my time. I choose to not give you any of my energy. And that's one thing that I had to learn for myself is certain people, you don't even give them your energy. Like, it's not even worth you getting upset. You just go, like, have you ever met certain people and you just like, you're just a waste. You're a waste of time. You're a waste of energy. Like, because certain people have not come into their own, they don't know who they are. And you just say, when are you ever going to grow up? When are you ever going to grow up? Some people never, ever grow up. And these are people, these are not like young adults. I mean, these are people who are in their 50s, 60s, 70s, and still acting a fool when this is the time where you should be these are the times, like when you get older, this is when you should be a mentor to the youth. This is when you should be an example. You should be teaching and showing other people the lessons from what you went through, being a mentor, a role model, a positive example, being a counselor, and all of those things, and a coach for the youth and for people who are under you and your relatives, showing you like, these are the mistakes that I made. And that's one of the reasons why I do what I do, because I definitely was very hard headed and I didn't listen. And I used to trust anybody, well, that could moving, basically. I wanted to hang out with everybody. I wanted to be popular, but all of that came with a price, you know. Don't sacrifice your soul for popularity. I had to learn that. Don't sacrifice your values, and your morals. Respect your own self. A lot of people don't know about that these days. They don't know anything about having moral strength and integrity. uh, Learning about commitment and loyalty, self-respect, self-love, setting boundaries. And we have to be careful about what we put out there and what we allow other people to know about us. So watch who you trust. I feel like this is a discussion that I probably could go on for another hour or so, but I definitely have to get up out of here. Miss Jackie says some people don't grow up because they still have people that still co-sign on their BS. Yeah, they do. And we have to pay attention to that. There's a lot of people that I call the saying, enable to disable. It's, you guys will read about it more in my upcoming book, but it's something that I came up with myself. But enable to disable is something that a lot of people do. They enable people in certain behaviors, and then they disable them to the point where people don't know how to do anything for themselves. you know they don't know how to be mature because everybody does everything for them. Thank you for dropping emojis, Tamika. Yeah, setting boundaries is so important. It's not only important for ourselves, but it's important for others, because if people don't know what you want, they're going to do whatever they want to you, and you'll be frustrated and upset, and they will be frustrated and upset. But if you tell people, like, don't talk to me this way, don't treat me, don't call me at this time, blah, 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 whatever it is, that is your thing. If you don't set boundaries, people will do whatever they want. People will puppet you and control you as much as you allow. you know yeah, that's true, Jackie. I wanted that so bad when I was younger. I thought, being popular, being in the in crowd was the best thing to ever happen. And then when you realize popularity comes with so many costs, there's so much things that you have to do to be in the popular crowd. You have to step on people, you have to embarrass people, take advantage of people, treat people like they're inferior and you're superior. Mm-mm. I don't like that feeling. And anybody who likes to feel better, it like step on people so that they elevate themselves, it's something wrong with those individuals. But like I'm saying, I had to learn to grow up, you know laughing at people's difficulties, laughing at people when certain things happen to them is very immature. And like I always say, what goes around comes around. I always speak about the boomerang effect. you know the boomerang will always come back. Whatever you always come back to you. Yeah, sure will. You know, the boomerang always comes around. And that's what we don't really understand when we're young about the boomerang. We don't understand about, you know, people who are taking advantage of us and using us, but it is there. you know it's there. And that's why I speak of these topics and I talk about this. So everybody, to all my chat family, watch who you trust, watch what you trust. And even on social media in the entertainment world, be careful. Be careful about what you listen to and what you believe. There's a lot of things that a lot of the important details are left out for a reason, because they don't want you to know certain things. So, yeah. Lisette says, my grandma always said people will use you until they can't use you anymore. They will use you up. Mm-mm. That's some wisdom. Thank you for that, Lisette. That's some wisdom. And I had to learn that for myself, that um, the moment that you start saying no, or the moment that you're not available for them, or they can't take advantage of you anymore, then people stop liking you. People only like you as much as they can use you, you know? And that's so twisted and sick. But if they can't get anything, if they're not benefiting, they don't care about you anymore. Actually, it's the people that you do so much for. You have given them so much love and time and compassion and understanding. And those are the main people that will, what you call it, in lack of a better term, you know, for the politically correct term, they will poop on you. Okay. And you've done nothing but good to them. It's like, what is going on? It's the people that you do the most for that will be the most disrespectful, that will break trust, that will talk about you behind your back and backstab you and use you and manipulate and throw you under the bus to other people. So be careful who you trust. And I want to say to all of my chat family, please watch your children. Watch what they're looking at on their phones, and their tablets, and laptops. Watch what they're looking at on TV, the music they're listening to. And for your elderly population, maybe your grandparents, aunts and uncles, maybe even your parents, whoever, or the population of special needs, those who are disabled. We have to take care of our population that is voiceless, the ones that either they can't do certain things for themselves or they're slow learning and they really don't know and understand. We have to be the eyes and the ears and the mouth. We have to be a mouthpiece for those who can't. So all that is important. Watch who you trust, what you trust, and who you listen to. All of it is important. Exactly, Lisette. Exactly. So I just want to say thank you all so much for tuning in to the Marlene Saunders Show. And yes, what we allow will continue. Definitely. I appreciate all of my chat family. Shout out to my mods. Thank you so much for supporting me in this channel, for dropping certain things and welcoming people in. I really appreciate all my mods. Shout out to all the supporters of the Marlene Saunders Show, my supporters that support in the chat, those who watch my replays, those who play my playlists. I really do appreciate every single one of you. You know, we're on the road to monetization, and when we get there, we get there. But I have to say thank you. I can't do this on my own. You know, this is your channel. I could do nothing if it wasn't for the support of those who support me. So I want to make sure I show appreciation and have gratitude for each and every one of you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, Miss Jackie. Thank you, Lisette, Miss Tamika, Frank. I don't know who else I left out, but thank you. Thank you to all my supporters. And I will see you all back tomorrow, Thursday, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, with a new podcast. Definitely appreciate every single one of you. And if you have not liked, please go ahead and share this with a friend or a family member. Thank you for tuning into the Marlene Saunders Show, where we have real talk, real conversations, and you're welcome to it. If it's your first time here, share, subscribe, share on your social media platforms. We do lives Monday to Thursday, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and you're welcome to come to the live show or watch in the replay. I appreciate you all, and do your best, chat family. Be your best. You know, love yourself, respect yourself, have boundaries, and know your worth. I will see you all back tomorrow.